six-camera Russia probe. The president is calling for live television hearings for the FBI agent who sent anti-Trump text messages while working on the collusion investigation and the Hillary Clinton investigation simultaneously. The president tweeted this: "The hearing of Peter Strzok and the other hating frauds at the FBI and the DOJ should be shown to the public on live television, not a closed-door hearing that nobody will see. We should expose these people for what they are. There should be total transparency." Strzok is scheduled to testify tomorrow in a closed-door meeting. Joining me right now is House Freedom Caucus member and Virginia Congressman Dave Brat. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Morning, Maria. Great to be with you.
Well, we've seen all the texts from Peter Strzok, and we've seen the bias and the animus against this president. What are you expecting from this hearing tomorrow?
Not enough, unfortunately. I'll just quote the Assistant Attorney General, and the arrogance kind of comes through. Stephen Boyd said, in quotes, "Many of your requests relate to documents and information regarding issues surrounding confidential human sources that are solely in the custody and control of the FBI." End quote. Yes, we know that. We have oversight over the FBI and fund the FBI. And that's the problem. They're saying they will not give over information, and you can see why, because of the Strzok and Page texts and all of these kind of things. And then the folks back home are saying, well, what's this got to do with anything? Well, 3 of the people from the FBI that we're looking for made their way onto the Mueller probe that was investigating the Trump campaign. And so how would you like that if that was your representation, right? They're goofing around with judge, jury, evidence and everything. You can't get any of it, and your opponent's got all of it, and they're the guilty ones, right? The FBI, the elites, not the guys and gals that work on the street every day.
Right.
But the elites, 8 of them, have been fired, stepped down, starting with Comey on down. Then we have arrogant statements saying we have sole custody of information. We have requested millions of documents. They haven't given them to us. And we can see clearly why, because FBI folks have made their way onto the Mueller probe. That clouds and calls into question all the evidence that's been gathered by the Mueller probe. And we want to know exactly which pieces of evidence have been exposed and are biased.
Yeah, there was an op-ed in the Journal last week, I think it was called "The Fruit of the Poisonous Tree," referring to the Mueller investigation, basically saying the people who are on the Mueller investigation, in particular Peter Strzok was on the Mueller investigation until it became so clear how biased he was, but all of the evidence that they gathered over the last year and took it to the Mueller investigation was tainted. That was what the op-ed said, and that's exactly what Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe told me on Sunday as well. Let me ask you this, because what's happening now is Devin Nunes, Trey Gowdy, Bob Goodlatte, the chairman of the oversight committees in the House, they want to know if there was any activity in terms of electronic communication or emails before the actual investigation launched into the Trump collusion story. It launched on July 31, 2016. 8 days later, Peter Strzok sends a text to his girlfriend. Right. She says, "Is Donald Trump going to be president?" He says, "No, we will stop him." 8 days later, after he took control of the investigation, and then 4 days after that, on April 12, 16, he says, "We need an insurance policy." But before all of that, Nunes wants to know if there was any activity before that in terms of informants, and the Justice Department and the FBI will not give up that information. Why is it so important to get the activity before that investigation was actually launched?
Right. I think that's the gut punch, right, for the American people. If they find out that piece, that before any formal investigations linked to the Mueller probe or the investigators' reports or any of that, if they're probing, the FBI's got spies in the presidential campaign of the opponent of the administration. That's the key piece to remember, right? The Obama administration is in. Hillary, the Hillary Foundation should be under investigation. The very people that are investigating the Trump campaign said ahead of time that Hillary is innocent and ahead of time that Trump is guilty. That is not justice, and that's the gut punch. If that ends up being true, and boy, it looks like there's a lot of evidence pointing in that direction, then the American people go, wow, game over.
Right.
This is crazy.
And the request is being denied. The Justice Department told House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes that he has all the documents that the agency can turn over. Nunes has set a deadline of 5 p.m. last night for these memos on paid informants used against the Trump campaign even before July 31. So House Judiciary Committee member John Ratcliffe raised this question about what the agency is holding back when I spoke with him on Sunday. Listen to this.
When Rod Rosenstein is central to all of this, it fairly raises the question, look, when we're not getting the documents that we need or not getting them in a timely manner, is that because he's just doing his job and trying to protect the turf of the Department of Justice, or is it because some of those documents may reflect negatively on senior members at the Department of Justice and the FBI, possibly to include himself?
Yeah, and one of the issues that really struck me, Congressman, was the fact that we just got this August 8th text from the IG report last week when he said, we will stop him. So somebody was sitting on that text and unwilling to bring it forth. So we know that Rod Rosenstein signed off on a FISA warrant, right, to get Carter Page wiretap. Right. He told President Trump to fire Jim Comey, and then he hired Robert Mueller. I don't know. People are wondering if he's conflicted, if he's a witness to all of this, maybe he should recuse himself. What do you think?
No, I think everything's heading in that direction. By the end of the week, we better have closure, right? We had a deadline. Nunez had a deadline yesterday. Ratcliffe had it just right. My friend Mark Meadows said it's up to these guys to determine, are they going to be part of the cover-up, right, which never ends well, or part of the cleanup, right? Cover-up or cleanup. And so the new head of the FBI, Wray, he's got to come clean. Everybody's watching. We're all watching. This matters for the reputation of that institution going forward, for oversight of Congress, for the fundamental institutions that make this country great. And the rule of law, right? We have illegal immigration. We have the rule of law with the Justice Department. I mean, there's too many questions going on where the American people are saying, hey, we're way off course here.
So why does the Peter Strzok hearing have to be private, behind closed doors? Why can't the public see him testify and answer the questions to all of this animus against the president?
I don't know. I'm sure it just has to do with the wheeling, dealing back and forth, right? I mean, the justice says we're going to give you some documents. We say, no, we'd like all the documents. Sure. We have oversight over you. So I'm sure it's part of the, supply and demand. They're negotiating. So
will we know what he says at that hearing? Will we get the details of what takes place, or we won't see how he answers things? Will you see it as Congressman?
Yeah. I don't know if I will. The Gang of Eight for sure is seeing everything. The folks on the committee will for sure see it. And then we'll see where it goes. But if there's, we represent and work for the American people, right? So it's their information. That's what the swamp misses, right?
Yeah.
This information belongs to we only represent the people. I work for 1 million constituents. And it's their information. And so the American people have to demand it as well. And I think they are. They're starting to get what's going on up here.
People are figuring out what took place in the 2016 election, for sure. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
You too. Great.
We will continue covering this pretty aggressively as we have. Dave Brat, thank you.